defense when wounded, and I don't even know where else it comes.
Oh,
Defense
I
when
just
wounded
added
here
you, so
from
now I'm gonna
these gyms.
do the invite.
Hey Drone X1, welcome back. Oh, didn't see that.
Bam. Alright. Now I sent you the invite. Okay. Right. Make sure your settings allow me to send you invites.
Oh, you mean like exact amount of defense? That's, that's a really good. Nobody knows, I guess.
I'm just gonna copy
It's a
paste this.
possibility. Where is that? Could be general defense multiplies by whatever. I don't think anybody knows. I don't really actually never bothered even to ask about it. Taking damage may increase your defense. For how much? Who knows? I think only the developer is gonna know about it, or wherever they freaking make that stat. Um, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things like we have no idea how much it gives. No, he means substat. Probably, yeah. Well, I do have two right here, so
Awesome.
that's why I have for 12 seconds. Not that I
Yeah, yeah, I
really
see it.
needed it.
Boop. Alright. Okay. So we're just getting started here. So I guess we'll go ahead and I guess we'll begin. I guess more people will join later on, and then we can just interact with chat for a bit as well.
So it's just gonna start two of us for now.
Yeah, we'll just start. I don't want to, wait for too much longer. I guess
All right, yeah, that's fine.
because at least we have two views here, right? PS4 and PC. So today's topic, as we said, was class variety in Skyforge, and then we'll cover a variety of other topics as well. If you want to get into other things, Pickle, it's up to you.
Why will it have 1 hour?
What was that?
Why we only have 1 hour?
Well, I mean, we can extend it. It's just for like a podcast, I wouldn't want it to be for too long, the podcast version, but we can still hang out and talk for the stream. Um, but our video is going to be on that topic, and then after that, we can try and do several different topics today if you want.
Yeah, we can cover a few stuff, yeah. A few more stuff. I mean, there's not a lot of things you can talk about the classes.
Yeah. I don't know where Ark is. He's having some technical issues. Anyway, so I guess since you started last time, Pickle, I guess I'll start for this topic. So my point of view from a PS4 standpoint. My name's Untitled Jupiter. I've been playing Skyforge since it launched on console, and I've recently started up on PC since I just got a new PC. So not too far on PC just yet. Still trying to do my Yellow Brick Road and everything. Over the years, it seemed that when the classes first come out, they're pretty much broken, right? Very, very strong. It seems like a lot of their DPS is just up the wazoo for no particular reason, and it doesn't seem like the other classes are able to really keep up with them after they've launched, right? But there are still niche things I feel that people do on PS4. For instance, I mean there are, as far as the meta goes, it's pretty much when the new class comes out, that's the class that you're typically going to be seeing a lot. But then you also have some of the older classes that, in my opinion, are still pretty good, pretty meta. In PS4, that's still the Outlaw, which was sort of the first class that was just busted, right? PS4 for a while was basically, if you don't play Outlaw, don't join my party for a little while there. And then it sort of changed over to a mix of some of the other classes. I know that Alchemist is still very powerful, and I see alchemists that have sort of like a boss burning style to them.
Where?
And on PS4.
Ah, still on PS1. Oh,
Yeah.
You guys need to catch up to PC and stop being lazy.
Yeah.
Because we had the same thing on the PC as well at some point, and obviously, when they started increasing new generations and then all the scaling stuff, yeah. So.
Yeah, and this was, I mean, like, it's not as prominent now as it used to be, because I mean the meta has changed quite drastically. I mean, when Revenant came out, it was basically only Revenants. I know Necromancers are still really, really strong on PS4, and then Grovewalker came out, and that became its own thing for a while, and now we have Firestarters, which is just like, they do so much damage, and it's in a huge area, and I don't understand why they do that much damage. I mean, literally in PvP, there's, I don't know what ability it's called because I'm not finished leveling up my Firestarter, but it's just this gigantic AoE that one-shots you if you step anywhere near it. So, like, there's all these different things that I think they're not really good to have in the game. There's several classes on PS4 at least. Oh, is that Ark?
Neo.
Oh, it's Neo. Hey, dude.
Hey man.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Comes
Gonna
in
lower
with
his
a
volume.
nuke.
Yeah.
um. Anyway, so that's been over the years, but for what it's looking like now, pretty much, there's the classes that have been previously strong. They're it feels like they haven't really been nerfed very much. The only problem is that all of the newer classes are just so much more prominent because they're stronger. They're just stronger than any of the
Mhm.
other classes, and so and then on top of that, all the classes that were pretty much weak since the start, it feels like they really aren't getting any love from from any buffs or anything. Like I'm not seeing, after any of the balances, like I'm not seeing Slayer go anywhere. Um, I'm not seeing Cryomancer move at all. Knight's, Knight's main problem is all the animation glitches that they have, and stuff like that. Um, Archer's still massively rarely used at all on PS4, at least. And I mean, there's plenty of reasons why I would assume, but as far as individual variety, right? It definitely feels like each of the classes have their own playstyle, which is great. Um, the main problem, I would say, is that sure you have a different playstyle, but is it worth doing that class over another class? Is that playstyle particularly something that you would rather have on your team to do whatever it is, or would you rather have something that just does more damage, or like does the same job but easier, more frequently, and better? Which is typically the problem in pretty much every single MMO that's out there. I don't
Yeah.
think any other MMO has this many classes to begin with. Nor is their balance really any better in the same coin. So I would say that the variety on PS4 from uh, excluding the brokenness of all the new classes, I would say it's good. Um, I would like to see a little more focus on the classes that just really haven't had any good buffs to them. Some of the classes, they just feel like you're doing a lot, but you're not getting a lot back. Like specifically the Slayer's class, you have like one simple combo. Everything else is like you have to do 3 or 4 things to actually get DPS out of it.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, you have the
well,
Revenant standing there
it's a complex
pressing
rotation.
3. Yeah, it's a complex rotation versus the Revenant, which is like 2 buttons, and you're
Well, that's
doing more
getting nerfed
damage.
too, because if you've seen the patch notes, though, they were nerfing it anyways. Like last patch, or they nerfed it slaughter damage by 20%. Patches before that, they nerfed its death stewards, just they
Oh, they
changed the
they
XY values and stuff. I think that
they've
was
been
also.
nerfing stuff. They've been nerfing those Revenants, Firestarters, Soundweavers like Alchemist and Necroman, like so many classes over and over and over. Like how far you can nerf the damn
Yeah.
class? Like just remove the from the damn game. Like why would you need that class anyway if you keep nerfing it?
Yeah,
I
for
think that
example, Soundweaver healing, that's been halved. Like, why do you even need Soundweaver right now? Because the healing is 1.5 instead of 3. Like, that's pretty useless.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Just
did talk.
delete
Yeah, I did
healing.
talk about the nerf parts yesterday on my stream. that they do in the wrong way. I mean, obviously it could have just done it, that as a Grow Walker has like ultimate, it says increasing health by 150%, and in PvP it's 100%. So like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just do something like that for the abilities? And Nadi Senpai said last time, yesterday when I was streaming, he said that it's extra coding that you have to add to it, and I'm like, well, you already have done it once, right? On certain classes, it's there. Apply the same code, whatever, maybe a couple of symbols here and there. I know it's not easy. I know it's it needs to be a lot of work, but that's what you're supposed to do when you
Yeah,
freaking
that's when you're
developing
the
in
dev
that
of a
game.
video game. Your
Like, you
job
can
is
just
to
like,
make code.
yeah, you can't just like see it like, oh,
What
you
kind
know
of
what, I'm
complaint
just
is
gonna
that?
do this because it's just easy for me. I don't
Yeah,
give a shit
that's
about other stuff.
that's awful.
Like,
Uh,
freaking get paid for it, so bust your ass, okay?
yeah, yeah,
And
and
yeah,
and
people talking about the outflow right now, bugs that happen in a lot on PS4. You know what, guys? Uh, it's not just happening on PS4, okay? The outlaw one-shot thing right now works everywhere. I'm not sure about Xbox. I don't know. I don't know if there's any people from Xbox right now.
yeah. If we have any
But
Xbox players, can you confirm that the outlaw bug is still on Xbox?
I'm not sure if anybody here right now in my stream from Xbox.
Okay.
Still trying to figure out why my mic is so low.
Turn that
That's a
bad boy
really
up, dude.
well. I'm kind of looking at at my streaming software when I'm talking. I mean, it kind of good, but I'm not sure if some people saying in my streaming chat that my voice is a little bit lower. I'm not sure.
Well, it sounds fine for me, even though yesterday's stream we couldn't hear you in general. On that aside, yeah, I do agree on the statement that basically when you're gonna do something to a class or have to add something or change some code, you're being paid to do that. You're receiving our money to actually do this.
Yeah,
So don't give me it takes us too much work, or it's a really small bug. It only happens to a few people. You're being paid to do this. You're
yeah,
receiving our money. So I expect at least some person that actually is gonna do this for us. Like for
yeah,
now, this outlaw bug is insane. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm
It
sure
is.
gonna
It is
use it.
insane. I can confirm it. It works on PC as well, and I actually, I actually put the video together about it. So expect that video, guys, very very soon because it's a fun. It's only like a small montage, not too crazy. I don't spend a lot of time right now to edit in videos, but doing my best to make it more presentable. But it does work on PC as well. I'm not sure if anybody from EU using it or not. I don't really care. People can use whatever they want. There is always going to be a consequences. So I did that thing just for the purpose of the video. So, and I know as much as I know that my whole team when we was doing that stuff, they like, Pickle, please don't post this video. Let us use this shit. We want to
Yeah.
make the content past the kill distortions really quick. I mean, I get their part because they our team is not the best. We're not clearing like, oh, just walk in, boom, it's done. No, we spend sometimes shitloads of hours in this one distortions because somebody keep screwing up, right? Somebody is not following the mechanics, and it's understandable. We're not perfect, but that's why, like, I understand their sides that they saying that, let us use that, while we can, because the Gorgonites will come in, demons will be come in, so it's not going to be easy, especially with my team as well. So it's not going to be easy to do stuff because certain people, they still learning, they still in a process of understanding the mechanics, paying attention on the animations and stuff like that. So it's really hard. Yeah, like we spend the first time when we tried to do the C3, we spent about like 3 or 4 days for about 3 hours, and like the first 3 or 4 days we spent about 3 hours and we didn't complete it. And then so
Wow.
obviously the PS4, whoever posted the video about that one shot, and I'm like, you know what? Let's see if it works on PC. So it did.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and so I did one shot C3, and they like was so happy about it. And I'm like, guys, but it's going on YouTube anyways. I was like, please, Pickle, don't do it, no. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I can understand
well,
that.
it will be fixed anyway. Somehow they will nerf it. They will change it something that it's not gonna work even in a god form. Because before the first time, as far as I heard, from what I heard, that the first time the Gorgonite weapon came out, and whoever found out about that bug for the outlaw, the stacks was actually can go unlimited amount. So people was one shot in distortions, none got. And then
Wow.
Skyforge like, oh, you know what? This is a game breaking. We're gonna have to do something about it. So they kind of work it out then, and they cap the stacks to 100. So you can only get 100 stacks. But again, if you overclick the left clicks on when you already have 100 stacks, it can disappear. So there is a chance that those stacks will actually explode on its own. So you have to be really careful. You have to only use 5 left clicks in order to keep those stacks, and when you're ready to do the sure shot, you can do the sure shot. But it's, yeah, they can disappear if you overshot. If you did like maybe 8 or 9 left clicks, and it might disappear on you.
Hmm.
So, but we'll see. It's definitely gonna get fixed anyway. We're just gonna have to wait what they're gonna do about it. I know there's some people who are talking about in Discord, oh, people gonna get banned. I don't think, Skyforge can afford to ban a lot of people.
Yeah.
They might see the logs, I guess, and see who's doing it more often, give them just 1 or 2 days ban. I mean, but it's nothing. So, like,
Yeah.
there's it's a just pointless ban with like because person just, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna take a break, go to the freaking bar, grab a beer, whatever, you hang out with something, family, friends, and then come back in 2 days and just start playing the game, do the same shit again. So
Yeah, but it's
the
basically history repeating itself. Because back then you could one-shot distortions if you just had everyone use Mordia, and if you proc had Narian's hammer before, you could, yeah, just one-shot the boss. And I think that leads to where they saw the videos that were posted on Moridia one-shotting distortion, and they thought like, we have to nerf this because this is unbalanced, etc. Then Alki nerf because yeah, last year you could one-shot Tolmonter with one slime, and yeah, I think, oh yeah, Zerg, not forget Zerg. Yeah, it got nerfed too, the initial burst and Reapers, because it was too overpowered compared to the rest. And yeah, now I think this weapon is next. It's obvious. They're gonna nerf it sooner or later. I think before demons, or even before Gorgonite invasion, because these invasions are more important than some mechanoid invasion. Because, yeah, you don't have to. These stores are quite pointless. If you clear something in Gorgonites or demons, you can boast about it.
yeah, they definitely gonna either fix it in Gorgonites or demons, because they know that those two invasions are the hardest ones to do. And if people are gonna use that outlaw bug, then they're like, well, that's just not gonna work. I mean, it's still like in demons, you still have to follow the mechanics anyway, because there is a lot of like invulnerability phases that you cannot simply bypass the shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they definitely either somewhere maybe close to the end of the Gorgonite invasion, maybe in the middle of it, and or maybe like right before the demon comes in. So we'll see. And I'm still wondering what exactly they're gonna do about it. Like how low, like what I was thinking that they can just do instead of like, for example, I'm just gonna pop the weapon. Let's see good to see. So for example, right here, the sure shot after the 20th mark, right? The sure shot deals 2% more damage for every stack. So 100 stacks, it should be about, what is it, 360, 400 additional damage, something like that. So they can only decrease that either to 0.5 or 1%, or they can again cap the stacks only, let's say 250 stacks, so you cannot go over 50 stacks. That possibly definitely gonna fix the, not to fix the problem, but it will eliminate, those people who, using that thing over and over and over again and one-shotting everything. So that way, if they do that, then there will be no one-shot no matter what you do, no matter how many buffs you drop and stuff.
But using Surge Shot is actually smarter, because if you have the node of Vengeance, the silver node, you can use Surge Shot to deal extra damage, because the node syncs very well with the weapon.
What
general.
nodes? In Atlas? Or...
No, the nodes from the Elder God trees.
Oh,
Vengeance
yeah.
expansion.
Yeah, it's the additional 27% right there, so...
So if you use that extra damage on Surge Shot with the weapon, and then with like the max stacks, yeah, it's 100% gonna be a one shot.
Yeah, people are even saying, like Luca said, they're probably gonna decrease the cap on stacks to the 40 or 50. That way, it's not gonna give that much of a boost for the Outlaw to one shot. It might still a pretty good damage. It might be, maybe not like one shot, but for example, I don't know, like 30-40%. I mean, it's still gonna be pretty good. You can still use Outlaw for some burst, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's
So,
still useful.
pulling us back
F4
into
because
sort of today's topic, because we can talk about glitches and stuff like that, all day.
Well, you started your mod token classes, and we just kind of slightly moved to the Outlaw bug.
Yeah.
But I heard what you said about the classes. I mean, PS4 at the moment, it's old PC version.
Yeah.
What you guys have right now. Yes, you're slightly getting out there. The higher your generation goes out, the boss's health increasing, stuff like that, damage from mobs and shit. But there is still part of that. It still, makes it more easier for you guys to do stuff compared to PC version.
Yeah.
Yep.
And speaking of classes, there is not much, you can say about it. Bunch of classes are completely, they use useless at the moment. The only thing what they're trying to do, yes, they're gonna use the Atlas to boost those classes for that particular invasion, so you can have fun with whatever Slayer for 2 months. Yeah, let's go. Who cares about it? Just make that, balance the classes. I was thinking, if they would bring the old Atlas back, not exactly the old one, but same principle, the foundation of it, and just make it permanent. That way, maybe somehow, you can use those progressions in that Atlas to bring the classes back. But it's still not a solution to make the class balanced.
Yeah.
And they have to actually boost the classes on its own. So they have to scale the classes that are very weak right now to the current, not invasion, but to the current system, that happened in every new invasion. So that's what they need to do. And then after that, yes, you can maybe add additional stuff for the Atlas and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's I'm not sure what they're gonna try to do it. There was a survey at some point. They posted a survey, and then you answer the questions like, oh, from scale to 1 to 10, this class, how like strong or weak it is, and just push like 1 or 2, or like I would probably push like -10 if there would be an option like that.
Yeah. I think that they could honestly do a little bit better at their polls and their questionnaires, because I don't feel like that really explains the problem with the class, or like the outlaw glitch. We can say, oh well, the outlaw is really strong, but if the glitch is the bug, that like if the strength is the bug to the class, and they take that out, we don't know where the class is going to sit after that, right? We don't know where, if the entire meta for whatever class is completely dependent on something that's not supposed to happen, and they take that out, where's the class going to sit after that? You know, so there's not really too much we can tell them through those polls other than, hey, this class just feels really really strong. Then it's completely up to them to figure out. Oh well, people are saying this class is too strong, regardless of the fact that the reason why it's strong is because it's a glitch. You know, um, so hopefully, I think their polls could be a little bit better when they ask questions like that too.
Yeah, but still, like an archer or a monk can still out DPS some meta classes, but the problem is that you require perfect performance and you need to know the class inside and out. For example, if you use a certain weapon on a class, it will change the whole play style. For example, on the demon weapon of archer, it's basically made for PvE because you buff the burn effect and you apply it to the boss, and all attacks, all abilities, etc. get like extra damage. And if you time those right with buffs, you can actually out DPS a fire starter, but it barely happens because you need to play perfect, and a fire starter can just throw its fireballs and ult whenever you want, and
Yeah,
half of the flame and throw more fireballs. Whereas a monk, you just need to understand when to use Lotus Strike or use your companion attack in general, depending what weapon you're using. But it's yeah, a fire starter can deal same damage or more damage without putting in more work. Because it's a brainless class. Let's be
hmm
honest. You can just press one and get more fireballs. Press R on buffs and press one 3 times again, and that's the rotation. And you keep your mana up so your ultimate has longer duration. And what they're doing right now is just nerfing all the other classes. Uh, Look what's been happening to Cryomancer over the years. It's been nerfed into the ground. Like it's not even fun anymore. It's just pathetic actually how the class is now.
hmm
And I understand you don't want to give the most overpowered class in the begin, but still, this is unnecessary nerfs. I hope you can follow me. Like
yeah,
it's just unnecessary, and it's stupid how you're basically treating all your classes right now, and just because Firestarter is new and the most recent class, it's gonna receive unnecessary buffs like the 3 fire squares you get at the begin. Like who nobody asked for it. It's making the class only more powerful, but there's no thinking behind it. Like if there was some sort of mechanic that would give you 3 squares, but it's just you gain them at the beginning of combat. It it makes no sense.
yep. So so I know that PC is a lot further along than PS4, but it sounds like there's still pretty much the same issues with the balancing of the classes.
Yeah, true. It's
So
on PS4 though. Some rotations are harder, some are easier, but um, how the game is right now, you cannot basically start the game and your first class has to be Grove Walker. Why? Because you're first of all very weak, and we come back to the availability of the whole game in general.
mhm.
And you have to pick Grove Walker, otherwise you're just gonna die. Because I have to tell people that they can't pick their class they want to play. For example, if they want to play Berserker as first class, I have to say to them, yeah, you cannot play this class as first class because you will this will lead to a direct ticket to uninstalling the game because you cannot progress without Grove Walker right
Yeah,
now. And I think that's a messed up system that you have to pick first Grove Walker first class. Otherwise, yeah, you cannot function in this game, or you have to grind extra hard in PvP to get another class or something. But yeah, I think this system is not maintainable, and it's you're basically shooting yourself in your own feet if you're which is gonna force everyone to pick Grove Walker
Hey
first.
Cass, I need tips for farming credits without Nightmare as I don't have it yet. Also, what should I spend for the... sorry, I have to mute myself.
Yeah, and as far as like the meta goes on PC, like what are the main classes that you're seeing right now on PC that are just like busted?
Wait, what classes are meta right now?
Yeah, on PC.
Oh, on PC, you can say Necromancer with Moridia. You can say Berserker with Ironheart. You can say Firestarter in general. You can say Kinetic with Mechanoid weapon. You can say, uh, well, it isn't used a lot, but you can say Monk and Archer, both with the right weapon. But yeah, it requires a lot of skill to actually out DPS a Firestarter, for example.
Hmm.
A witch is just terrible right now. You cannot.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's only good because it has an Atlas node, and you can deal more damage after you break the cursed shield. But in general, you cannot. It's pretty useless class. Uh, yeah, that aside, that's the main classes. So Zerg, Necromancer, Firestarter, Kinetic.
Okay. And Revenant is not in the meta
Oh
right
yeah,
now,
and
right?
Revenant also, but that's more. It isn't like the biggest single target class. It's a mix because it does AOE, but it also can do single target.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like from what I understand, it's supposed to be like the solo class where you need to do like a
Yeah,
wide variety of things.
it's a
So pick
mix. It's
Revenant.
also quite tanky compared to other classes,
Hmm. And then
as in it has the health advantage of having max health like a tank class.
and then Grove Walker isn't there either.
Grove Walker is just yeah, it's a weird class. Sometimes you have people using Knight. But for example, for now, you can use Grove Walker as a tank. We're not going to use Grove Walker as a DPS in general because, yeah, the most damaging moves are aggro attacks. For
Hmm.
example, the swinging branches or something. No, yeah, the one where you spin around. Yeah, that's basically your DPS. Or if you use the gold symbol, for where you like your flowers deal more damage and you have the Gorgonite weapon, then you can try to out DPS someone, but in general, you can use it as a tank. But if you're gonna be really tanky, you either gonna use Paladin or Knight, especially Knight, because Knight is just broken. As in, it's so tanky. If you just use Falcon and Lunge, you can
Hmm.
extend the duration of your barrier. Um, yeah, other than that, Cryomancer is just terrible. Even with Altia, you can keep Whiteout alive. It's just too weak to do anything, even with any symbol right now. Yeah, okay, you can do a lot of damage in PvP if you stay in your own storm with Scarlet symbol, and you can have like an infinite shield. That aside, it's quite pathetic. It's feudal using anyways. Um, Other classes, yeah, there isn't much,
Yeah.
and it's sad
Well, it
because
sounds
the
like.
concepts of these classes are just
Hmm.
amazing, but because of the nerfs and stuff, it's just yeah, they're not used, and that's basically yeah sad
Yeah.
in general.
Well, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, you gave me like 8 classes out of 15, 16.
Yeah, around
You know,
that
to me,
number, it's
to me
you're not gonna
that's
use
actually a pretty
50%.
good that's actually a pretty good variety in my opinion. Just because, I mean, yeah, 15 classes is definitely a lot to have. Um, but I mean, in other MMOs, there's much less so, uh, much less variety in comparison to how many classes there are. There's, um, I mean, I used to play WoW, and Paladin was basically just like, if you don't play Paladin, you're kind of trash. Um, and then it moved around to Death Knights and different things. But there was with every class, there's they've got the subclasses on like the different playstyles that each class can do, and each class had like what 3 different types of ways to play them, and you only ever really see pretty much one type of those classes played. So that's even less of a if we're going to count subclasses with the actual classes, that's even less of a percentage of the total that are useful, right? So in comparison to that, and I mean WoW is a pretty big game too. And then again, there's also like different reasons why each of those classes are better. Like some of those classes are better for PvP, like some of the rogue classes, and then uh, linking that over to if you're a tank class, you're going to do a decent amount of damage still, but the main thing is that you're harder to kill, so you're on the front line, and then you've got some of the other classes that are meant to be played in the back, and things like that. So with those things in tangent with like the best class to play, in compared to Skyforge, which, like as you said, I mean, I think PS4 is kind of going down the same path already, right? With its meta classes, but like 8 out of 15 to me is actually not as bad as I expected it would be from a lot of the videos I've been watching, um, and I just think we need to sort of give props to that as well, because with that being being compared in that way, it definitely gives a different understanding of how terrible is the balance, um, especially when you compare it with another game that's been out for much longer that has arguably worse balance in it, um, and then you take into the effect of like why are they imbalanced, right? It sounds like pretty much what balances these classes out ends up being the legendary weapon that you're going to use. Am I?
Yeah, that's basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is they have, for example, on Revenant, if you have Nurgle, Revenant is very slow, and the moves are slow, and there's not a lot of fast moves. And if you have this weapon, you can change the whole play style of the class, because yeah, that's what they're doing in general. And what I like about pack weapons is when your play style is going to change to something else, that you're
Yeah.
going to use certain skills that you're not going to use in general, and that they have some sort of purpose right now. For example, if you have the Titanite weapon, the Hitnellum Ripping Torn,
Hmm.
you never use destruction like in any way, but now it has some sort of purpose, because when you use Gloomy Shadow and Dehydration, those mushrooms pop up out of the ground and you can detonate them with the destruction.
Yeah.
Not that, even though I like Miracle more than Hidden Item, because yeah, you need RNG, because those mushrooms can grow on the different side of the boss, and you can't hit the boss on that angle, for example. But yeah, that's what they have been doing to weapons right now. They ask, of course, money for it, and you need a weapon. I don't say for all classes, but this is for most classes. You need a legendary weapon to have some sort of fun with a class.
Hmm.
It's when you're using compared to what you're using as a blue weapon or a purple weapon or a green weapon. And yeah, this is for most classes. To have some sort of fun.
Yeah.
And it's a vicious circle, because when you buy one and you feel like, wow, I can do this, and I can use certain abilities now, and I can out DPS a friend, or you're just gonna continue buying stuff and
Hmm.
more and more and more. Of course, that's what they want. These people are working their ass off. I think, I hope, but yeah, these people need money too. The publisher needs money too,
Yeah. Well, I
but
mean, to keep an
I don't
MMO,
think this is the
running,
solution.
I think MMOs are like the biggest. Um, it requires much more investment to keep an MMO running, and compared to many of the other games like Call of Duty, things like that. So it makes sense to have incentive to buy things using your money, especially if you need to keep the game running, because there's just so much that they need to make sure is going on. There's so many things they need to put money towards for it to work. But I do like the fact that, you know, I think that legendary weapons, right? It's the main premise of them is you're playing this class, with all the regular weapons, and you're playing the class as is, and then you add in a legendary weapon, and it completely changes that part of the class, and it gives you a new playstyle. And now you have a paladin that has several different ways of playing that you can maybe build them towards. Maybe it's not meta, but you have that ability to switch around your stats and do things like that, which I think other games definitely miss out on. It's just, some of them are glitched, and some of them are just already on classes that are good at base. And so I think there needs to be some sort of answer to some of the base classes not being that good. I'm not sure what it would be, but it would be nice to have people, like you said, you start the game, you have to play Grove Walker, otherwise you're just going to uninstall because of how difficult the game's going to be. I definitely don't think that should be a thing at all. I think you should be able to play whatever class you like.
Yeah.
And you should be able to really identify that class with its playstyle, with its base playstyle. And whatever way that is to get that to happen, it would be hard to figure that out.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. For example, Crazy Pickle mentioned in his video a while ago that he said, like, when back in the day, if you just crossed the temple on a province, you would obtain the class. And if I don't know when, but it was a long time ago. Later
I
on, they
think
changed it. You need sparks and stuff.
they
They
So
changed
changed
that.
it to credits, and then they changed it to stars.
They changed that because they start making new classes, and the reason why, because a lot of people who already complete their province, if they would add the temple to it, it's technically give you the class for free. And since it's a new
that's what they don't
class,
want.
yeah, exactly. But right now, the amount of sparks of transformation it requires, I think it's too big, especially for the default classes. They definitely need to decrease the amount for the default classes. Newer classes, they can still kill at 35k, and they also have to consider, for example, how long the particular class, how long ago it was released. For example, Revenant was the very first kind of a newish class that they released, and it was freaking long time ago. Just start decreasing amount of sparks on that class, and then just bring it to the same amount as a default class. It's just
Or if you just cross that province and you're just gonna give the old classes for free, and the new classes you still have to use sparks on. So people are not stuck with one class, because I think around when you finish the whole province, you can have 30k sparks, I think, and then you can do some group missions to get some extra, and, then you can get like Grove Walker. Well, that's the main thing people gonna get right now. But what if you just give those old classes to the players when they just cross the
Hey, dude.
temple, and give the
That's good, man. I'm doing a discussions.
still
Maybe if you want to
still
join
have to
us.
pay for the newer ones, because I think that's fair enough for the
We're doing
player,
doing it
and
on our
they're
Discord.
not gonna lose any money
Are
on it,
you
because
in
they
the
still
Disciples
have to
Discord?
grind something for the newer classes.
Ah, that would explain it.
yeah.
We just
There's
get
only
Discord.
so much you can get from like directives and
Yeah,
as a
sure.
drop. I mean, maybe they should just increase also the drop
Yeah,
from
you
the
can just
mobs while
jump
you
on
do
and
the
I'll talk.
missions,
Add you, whatever
increase the
your
amount
username is,
of
and I'll
spark
send
of
you an invite to
transformation
my
from
Discord while we're
directive
doing
instead
this
of
on.
600. I don't know, give her whatever 1,000 or something like that.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. So. Yeah, but if you're gonna join the Discord call, might wanna turn the mic off. Sounds good.
Anyways, I'm not sure why they ever did
Yeah.
some sort of survey on the players about class balancing and stuff, because it felt kind of pointless doing this, because these people are just gonna do what they want. Like the community on PC and EU and NA, and same goes for console, don't have like the biggest influence on the game. And even with this survey, we didn't see a lot of things back, or maybe they did bring something back or change something, but they didn't take the full sentence of it. Then they took some part out of it and then used it on a class. But in general, uh, class balancing is a meme, and I think a lot of people can agree with me on that. With the quote, "We should add content to the game." And when people start bursting out and laughing because, uh, yeah, content on Skyforge is yeah, it's almost non-existent, because what they recently put over they recently put toxic waste in the directives, and people are just not gonna do their directives anymore when they see toxic wasteland, because yeah, they're kind of bored and stuff. They don't want to sit back and use Grove Walker to get through this toxic take. Anyways, I'm getting off topic talking about maps while this is about classes and stuff. I'm sorry.
All good. Appreciate the comments and the discussion that you bring in to the table. It's good. It's good. Um, so we've touched on sort of the meta classes. We've touched on um, how they have been dealing with their classes and
I think you're quiet again, Jupiter.
testing.
There you go, a little bit better.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just repeat that. So we've touched on some of the balance, quote unquote balance that the classes have. Um, the change in playstyle with the legendary weapons and what else we touched on. The way that they're quote unquote balancing the classes. I might have already said that. Now I'd like to move us over to and oh yeah, we've also talked about sort of maybe how they could fix some of this stuff. Whether or not they listen to us, it's up to them. Um,
Yeah.
which is the whole point of this, right? Even though they sort of do their own thing, we got to keep giving them the ability to hear us out. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen, you know. And also for people who are interested in finding out more about the game, now they know there's, much like in every single game ever, an issue with balance. Um,
Just in
that
Skyforge, it's a little bit bigger problem,
yeah,
on my opinion at least.
yeah, well, yeah, I think that, it's always going to be part of the main three problems that games have, because it's always got to be something that needs to always be touched on. It's got to be something that's always changed and mixed up. Um, and one of the problems is that there aren't really any base classes that are getting a big enough change to where they're like, oh, well, now this base class is really powerful. We'll use this for this invasion, whatever. Which they've sort of added a system to bring that into effect. Maybe it's not as effective as everyone is hoping, but it's still there. Maybe they'll get better at manipulating that system as well. Um, so talking more about the differences between each of the classes. which I think is probably going to be pretty quick for all of us. I mean, I think that it's really interesting how each of the classes play so differently from each other, which is great for a game. I know I've played a lot of MOBAs as well, and in the MOBAs, there's typically one playstyle for each type of, I guess, quote unquote class. It's more of roles basically, where you've got your ADC, your tank, your mage, different things like that, and they all basically, quite literally, play exactly the same as their other roles counterparts. It's just how they do it is a little different, and it's not even a huge difference either. You know, like let's say in Smite you've got your hunters, which are the ADC classes, and the way that they do damage is they just auto attack, and that's it. That's how they do damage. Their auto attacks do the most damage out of any of the other classes, so they are heavily reliant on items that they buy, and so their strength is completely dependent on how strong the items are and whatever. So there's another layer of balancing for MOBAs to go through, right? Because they've got items that change, that come into meta and leave the meta depending on how strong the items themselves are. And then on top of that, you have to add in, okay, well, are these abilities that they use balanced as well? In League of Legends, there's an assassin called Rengar, and he brought a very, very toxic, super toxic meta to the game, because all he would have to do is jump on the enemy ADC and one-shot them. And that's all they would have to do. And it wasn't like...
That's balanced.
Yeah, it's so unbalanced. It wasn't like, oh, that's a hard thing for him to do. Quite literally, you press your ultimate, you walk into the lane, your character immediately jumps on them, and you get free uses of one of your abilities that does over 1,000 damage and ADC's max HP at level 18, I think, was the max level. It's been a while since I played. The max HP that they would typically have is just over 2,000 HP. And Rengar would be able to do almost 3,000 HP within 3 seconds of coming out of invisibility at level 6. So it made absolutely...
I think that's very balanced,
yeah.
Sarcastic.
Yeah, and so they had to completely rework him, and all that stuff, and that type of balancing, that type of toxicity within those other games, talking about class variety, I'm not actually seeing too much of that bustedness. I mean, I'm seeing one shots in PvP and stuff like that. Obviously, honor is a thing, and making sure that people who like to play PvP are given a PvP buff for doing this and gearing up for it, versus the people that aren't. I don't necessarily agree with the one-shots per se, but I do agree with being able to do a little bit more damage and things like that. But I'm not exactly seeing the toxicity with the main part of Skyforge, which is the PvE aspect. I mean, there's the outlaw glitch that we've already discussed, which is one-shotting something, but that's a glitch.
Yeah, don't forget about Gunner with Reaper weapon with the Atlas node. I totally forgot about that weapon.
Does that one-shot too?
Yeah, that's basically your main burst right now. Like before, still people were sleeping on the class because it's not a bad class or anything, but now it's just really good because the node. But in general, I think in PvP, because you can take two aspects of the game, you can either say PvE, PvP, and in PvP, I think honor is a big mistake.
Okay.
Because, like, if you're gonna contribute to this system, it's like this circle. The good people get better, the people that aren't good are gonna get worse. Why? Do you understand? They have the specific build for this class, for a general defense, etc. But if you're gonna make this thing moving forward, like every invasion, like you're
Mhm.
gonna add new generation and stuff, I think it's hilarious how people are using this system because it's not maintainable. If you're gonna update every invasion, there's people that just gonna get better, and there's people that gonna get stuck in this hard stuck bronze, for example, with people that have normal PvP builds and normal honor. So I
Mhm.
think honor needs to be changed or removed.
Okay. Well, how
Of
do you think they
course,
would
it
be able
has
to do that?
its pros and cons, but I
Yeah.
think it has more cons than it has pros.
True. But there would, but like, and yeah, the honor system is a little scuffed, but I'm speaking more in the sense of the idea that okay, if you want to build for PvP, you're gonna have to play it, because it's that way in all of the MMOs too. You don't just gear up during the PvP and oh, one sec, I gotta invite someone real quick. All right, let me know what your Discord name is. Yeah, and I'll add you. Any capitals?
Wait, what about the capital?
And then there should be numbers next to it.
Wait, my Discord in general.
Sorry, I'm talking to someone in my Pantheon.
Ah, I
And
see, I
then
see.
I'm gonna invite him to the Discord.
Like, I
Hold on.
would like to see someone else that isn't as far as Crazy Pickle and I am, because you can obviously hear someone talking that beat the game and stuff and did
Mhm.
some end game here and there. But if there's someone that's like less progress than we are, it would be more objective to do some podcasts about this subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more people to join. Like, where's everybody else? Like,
Well, I'm trying to get people in here.
what?
Yeah,
Like,
we're patient.
if people don't feel comfortable, then just don't say that you're gonna join and whatever, talk about stuff.
Did you accept my friend request there, Toxic?
Where?
I'm adding someone from my Pantheon
Uh,
to the Discord.
Oh,
he's adding someone from his Pantheon to this Discord and stuff.
So go to the top, look at pending, and you should, because you haven't accepted it yet. He's in a Discord. He's just figured it out. Okay, then can you message me on it?
damn, my bot got broken for giving rolls. Like, what the hell?
Oh, rip.
I have to use a different one, I guess, for that one. Double check. Ah, it's a possibility. Oh, I know probably why.
I don't think you've completely added me, Toxic. It doesn't say. It says that we're not friends yet.
Crazy Pickle, how do you live with yourself that I have to mute every Crazy Pickle channel almost because I'm receiving 3 pings for one video upload?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Yo, when you post a new video, I get like 3 pings, one from Twitter, one from Pickle Live, and one from new videos.
Yeah, I kind of like when I look at it, I'm like, oh shit, that looks weird. I gotta fucking change that shit. Well, that I don't know why it posting the live stream when I start streaming on YouTube as a video. That's kind of a weird part. I know it's supposed to post it when the stream is actually ended, because I remember it didn't
Yeah.
happen last time. So that's really weird. I have to freaking look into it. A lot of shit for some reason goes wrong all the
Toxic,
time.
see
So
if you can
I
add
don't know.
me. My
It's all
username is going to be
okay. I
Uncut
see this
Jupiter. It's all
person joined
lowercase.
actually.
And then the number is 0614. And Pickle, if anyone in your stream wants to join the Discord and hop in here.
They just asking a bunch of questions, you know, what to do, how to do this, how to do that. That's fine.
0614.
Oh man, I'm getting hungry.
Me too.
You need to grab some snack.
Some snack.
Eat something. I'm gonna try to think if there's a way. Well, there's no way I get I have to. Yeah, I have to work on my bots. Spend some time just for that.
Yeah.
To set them up properly.
Yeah, it takes some time to fix your bots or have a good
think you
Discord
added me now.
server in general.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sneeze over my computer screen because I had my hands full.
Yeah. I want to play some Apex Legends. I'm gonna be terrible at it, but
Oh, you want
it's
to
a
play
fun game to
Opix
play.
Legons?
What's that?
Want to play some Opix Legonzo?
Yeah, Apex Legends. I was kind of training yesterday a little bit, getting some my aiming back in place.
Yeah, we are in
I'm probably
the
gonna
Stream
have
Voice
to.
channel under
I have to also
Skyforge.
probably change my mouse for that as well, because this mouse that I'm using, the shape of the mouse is okay for in general use, but if you're playing some
Skyforge
FPS
channel.
games, you need to have something that not
What's
as
going dark?
that.
What's going on, Dark Herited? Welcome to the stream, dude. I'm doing pretty alright. We are having a bit of a discussion here on about Skyforge. I think we pretty much covered a lot of things. I don't know if you guys have anything else that you want to touch on.
So what we come up with the conclusions for the classes.
Yeah, so we said that the classes are well made, excluding balance-wise.
Mm-hmm.
We like that the legendary weapons change up the playstyles of each of the classes. What we don't like is the nerfing. That seems to be all they can do to balance a class. And that's Toxic joining us. Welcome, dude.
I'm not sure how loud he's gonna be. I have to adjust his sound right away.
Thanks for reminding me. Alright, Toxic, go ahead and say something.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Just trying to figure out how his mic's working. Let's see. I can tell you it is not working.
Oh, it's okay.
Not much. You're just a chill out season for you. I thought Skyforge has barely anything to it. It's got things, just not enough new things. There's a lot of things for you to do. But
speaking of weapons, I mean, yes, they do give different variety for certain classes or play style, as you said, but they needs to be more not that
available?
affordable. That's not the word I'm looking for. I think it's more of a what's that word?
You must have this weapon, otherwise this class isn't as functional as it would have been. For example, on Reaper Paladin, you're not gonna use this class to, if you, I mean, you're not gonna use this class, you're not gonna tank if you don't have the Reaper weapon for some PvE instances. If you, for example,
Well,
have,
Sounds like
it's
Pickle has a
you
disagreement here.
can still play if you're simply gonna be fully tank.
Yeah.
yeah,
Obviously,
okay,
you're not gonna have the healing part for the from the weapon, but it's still doable. It only what makes that a little bit harder is now in that case, if you don't have the weapon, support has to actually shield you a little bit often, depends on your strength and how much damage you take.
We
But
cannot hear
yeah,
you
keep
yet,
going.
Toxic.
Sorry.
yeah, I don't mean all instances, of course, but if you're the healing is some, you need that as a tank. If I mean, who doesn't want to have a tank that's can heal on itself? And if you have this weapon compared to others, it basically outclasses them because the other weapon is okay. The mechanoid weapon is okay for PvP if you want to decrease ultimate of you and your
Do you
allies.
have a
Hmm.
The demon weapon is
um?
okay if you have a shield bolt, but then you
Do
have
you
to
have a
make a
mic in your
shield bolt
PC?
first. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
your Reaper
To go
weapon
down to user settings,
is, yeah, it
voice
outclasses
and
them and is
audio,
basically
and
a
you should be able to
must
change
for
it
certain maps.
there.
I'm not gonna say other weapons are bad, but
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay. Voice.
Hey, there he is.
So Nicholas says the issue with the legendary weapons is that each class has quote unquote the best weapon overall instead of them being in the best situationally. So, which is definitely true.
yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, we can draw comparisons there with, like I gave the previous example of World of Warcraft. You know, you've got all these classes, and then the legendary weapons in Skyforge is similar to the different play styles that each class has in WoW, and you've got one subclass that's beyond stronger than all the other two the two other types of classes that
Mm-hmm.
class can be. And I feel like it's just really difficult. I don't really think that it's a reachable goal to have everything be as switchable as we want it to be, you know, because there's going to be something that's, you know, more consistent damage wise or more tank wise, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But definitely, I see what you're saying, where it's definitely that is a problem, and it's definitely notable. I just don't think that it's a like I just don't think that it's a thing that we can expect from any game. Yeah, not even, you know, from any game, not just Skyforge, um, because that's always a thing in games.
Oh, who? You know what? Who wants to see a small teaser about the video that I'm gonna post?
Yeah,
Can you
I'm
guys hear
okay
me?
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
hear you,
hear you,
Toxic.
Toxic. Yeah.
Oh, oh, okay. So, right, that's good.
All right. Let's see
Yeah,
if I can.
also, for example, if you certain support weapons, you know, basically, of course, you know them. For example, if you don't have Marit Hidden Rage or you don't have Jinx in a raid, you're basically gonna be useless because the burst relies on either you have Jinx or you have Quasar, and maybe if for mid rotation or if you get lucky on potent cocktail, you can use Scylla on burst, but then you have to be really lucky to time it right. But in general, without these weapons, these classes aren't what yeah, what they're just gonna do right now. And yeah, like I said on Paladin, these weapons outclass each other. I think every weapon has its own purpose on Alchemist because, well, now less because it has been nerfed since Oceanit. Like Yarm is quite useless. Floss is okay for shower for mid rotation every time, but Scylla is just the best weapon in PvE in general. And I think having that sort of imbalance between three weapons is, yeah, it's just not right to have one weapon that's completely garbage compared to the other one.
Yeah.
And there's many other cases with the same problem. Even goes for Cryomancer. Like the class is becoming somewhat useful if you have the Titanite weapon, because your whiteout is going to be a lot longer than when you're going to use Gorgonite weapon, because the Gorgonite weapon is, yeah, useless.
Hmm.
Useless since the beginning.
So maybe upping the usefulness of some of these items as opposed to nerfing the strong ones.
Yeah, or and like I mentioned before in your streams, we don't want the classes to be the same damage. We just want them to be viable. And with this atlas, they have some sort of viability, but not that's only for 2 months. For 2 months, this class is going to be good, and then you will not use this for some time again. When if the node is going to be for squads only or something, I don't know.
Which I think is actually a pretty interesting thing. You know, in a lot of the MMOs, uh, usually your meta drastically changes after like one major update. You know, but in Skyforge it changes on the regular. You know, it's every 2 months it changes, um, which I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing. I personally think that because it's different and it doesn't exactly feel like it's wrong to have that. I actually think that it's a good thing. But I do want to ask Toxic here. Um, you are a returning player, is that correct? Toxic? Testing?
Alright, so my headset won't work, and that's I have to use the mic through the laptop.
It sounds
Yes,
alright.
I am.
Alright, go ahead and introduce yourself. And we're talking on the topic here. If you could actually mute my stream in your background, that would be beautiful. But we're talking about class viability in Skyforge, and I was wondering your point of view on sort of what you're seeing, your opinions on the variety of classes in Skyforge. Are they good? Is it bad? Is it too imbalanced for your taste? And what classes are you typically seeing the most of?
Um, right, throwing me under the bus. Alright, I
Yep.
like it. So I used to play this like, I don't know, a good year ago. And then I just kind of just stopped because it was feeling a little bit repetitive after a while. Um, Maybe it's just because I didn't know too much about it, but kind of throwing a different vibe out in the beginning. And then I got back on, about a couple weeks ago, to be honest. And ever since I've been back, it feels a little bit different. Certain classes are like the alphas, and certain classes are not even close to being where those alpha classes are, such as like the what is it? I'm horrible with the names. I'm gonna be honest. Also, it's
Doesn't
the
matter.
Grove Walker. It seems like that one's almost like the top three to have because it just does so much damage. I haven't really used all the classes, so I can't really explain about balance just because I haven't really used all of them, so I don't know which one is the best versus, the others. From the ones that I've used so far, most powerful ones would definitely have to be the Grove Walker and the was that other one that I asked you, Jupiter, about? Um, that is like the big axe, giant axe,
Revenant.
destroyed. Yeah, that man and Grove Walker, like the two alphas of the game. I do really, really like this game. I just need to learn a lot more about it because ever since I've met Jupiter, and Arc, I've learned so much more than I've known about this game, and it's so much more in depth than I known.
Yeah. Which is another thing that's really awesome about um, the classes is you've got not only your class playstyle, but then you add in these general symbols and how you play around them on top of that, which is its own level of playing the game and
Sure.
and brings in an additional layer to each class and also adds to their individuality as well. So there's a lot of good things I feel with the variety. It's just unfortunate that the things that's bad kind of definitely overshine sometimes. But also, I feel like people have been so specific about getting things changed that we've gotten ourselves stuck in this negative banter about Skyforge, and I don't think we take the time to appreciate some of the good things that Skyforge has, right? So that's one of the things that I think is good of the class variety is just the depth of its combat and the depth of each class.
You
And
quiet
stuff like
again,
that.
man. What are you sitting like in the next room or something?
my it's not a headset, it's earphones. The mic is hanging down sometimes, so I gotta pull it up to my mouth. Toxic, mute
Yep.
the stream. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, please
That's
mute
what I
the
was
stream,
worrying
man.
about.
I can hear him talking. Double.
That's why I'm trying not to talk as loud so I can hear myself.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
I was thinking, why am I hearing double anyway?
I'm gonna try to figure this thing out so I can talk to you guys without hearing yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you use a headset or something?
Well, the headset I have for the PlayStation is Bluetooth, and the
Oh.
USB only works onto the PlayStation
So it's not
because
the
it
stream, it's just
connects
the
a certain
speaker.
way.
Gotcha.
I have like 7 other headsets and stuff, so I'm gonna try different things.
But
Each time
it's
you
weird
plug it
because
in,
it's
make
an
sure you
aux
go to your
cord, right?
user settings
Do you,
and
do you have like a headset with a mic for your for like cell phone, smartphone, whatever? Like you have to actually plug it in. If you have
Yeah,
something like
but,
that, that thing works like a charm. I was using that
yeah,
shit for a long,
I'm
long
using that
time.
right now.
I did. I had $80 Astros until my dog ate the
Oh.
cord, so
Delicious.
SOL at that point with that.
Somebody's asking any info on Skyforge on PS5.
Yes. The info is that we don't have any info. There you go.
Yeah, it's too early, I think, for this.
Yeah.
I mean, they just announcing, right, that the PS4 5 will be out soon or something. I'm not sure if it's out already.
It's technically out already. People have gotten like free PS5s for like
Kind of like
the
testing stuff and shit
Yeah. But I think they said it's like September, November or something like that.
for the entire public. Yeah,
What about now?
yeah we're still here. Yeah.
It sounds good.
Okay,
I don't hear
that's
any
still
echoing.
the mic for the.
Anyways, I still want to talk about the Atlas node.
Okay.
Still, something about it. You said like the meta is changing because of the Atlas. Like some classes get more powerful,
Alright, next
etc. And what I think is when you're using certain classes,
Toxic, you
or
can
like
actually
one
mute your
class
mic.
Alright.
specific,
All right, hold
You
on,
can
hold
mute
on,
your
hold on,
mic
hold
until
on.
we ask you to talk. That might just
What-
help out.
What you can do if you go to the Discord, right?
Yeah.
Go to voice and video.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
and
if
should
if
make
you're
the
using
decibels higher.
yeah if you're using the voice activity just when it picks up your voice, remove the automatic, disable the automatic, and put that green bar to the right. So that way it will not gonna pick up any outside. Hopefully not, but that's how usually I'm using it.
You could also just put
Yeah, you
push to
can
talk,
change the
and
decibels if you want to.
while we're talking, it's not gonna like your mic's technically off. And then if you need to say something, you can press the push to talk, and it'll work like that.
Yeah, and then you can scroll down. There's a echo cancellation, noise reduction. You can activate those if they're not, and stuff like that. So it might help as well.
Look at us solving real world problems in Skyforge
Yep,
discussions.
modern problems require modern solutions.
Hard saying September 4th for PS5.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, what I was talking about the Atlas node, like you said, the you have to use different classes and not always the same. Because before there was like this one meta class. Before it was Necromancer, then it was Alchemist, then it was Berserker. People got tired of using the same class over and over again. So I do agree, and I wanna mark this for people that this Atlas isn't that bad. It has its flaws, but everything has its flaws. You cannot
Yeah.
expect them to create a perfect game, but the main thing is that you're not going to use the same class over and over again, because that's when the game gets really boring if you have to burst with one class only and stuff. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say actually.
Yeah.
So the Atlas, speaking of Atlas, what they could have done it as well, instead of every new invasion had a different setup classes, just make all of them. For every invasion, you make all of the classes available in the Atlas, but change rotation of the bonuses that it gives. So that way you can play all of the classes if you wanted to. Like squad, I can use, let's say, what we have 18 classes to choose from, right? Just make some of the classes again like same thing as it is right now. This class is only for the group, this class is for the squad, this class is for the party, distortions and avatar, stuff like that. But make all of the 18 classes available in the Atlas. Just every new invasion rotate different bonuses for maybe different abilities. I don't know, something like that.
That sounds like that definitely sounds like an easy thing that they could implement. Since they're doing the coding every every invasion pretty much, they got to add in a new line of code for that.
I have a really good question from my stream. Person
Okay.
asks, if all classes were removed and you can keep one class, which class will you keep?
Good question.
Revenant,
I like
because
that.
it's as interactive as an anime pillow.
Oh my god.
Well, in my case, I would probably keep kinetic, but if it would be like in a normal condition that it will deal, not good damage, it was scaled properly, balanced, whatever. I think because kinetic for me, it's actually really fun to play class.
Yep.
But yeah, I would definitely probably keep the kinetic, because all of the fire starters and all those revenants, groove walkers, like they are good, yes, but
Yeah, I agree on kinetic. Kinetic is really fun to play. It's just that you have to use a certain weapon to deal damage, because the oceanid weapon, I don't know what purpose it had, but I still don't know. But the mechanoid weapon makes the class
it's the
fly.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand why you would pick the class, because using the class that are not used makes the game more fun. That's why people want to learn the old classes like monk and archer, because they're not used a lot, so the fun factor is higher on playing them. Instead of playing the stupid old Firestarter, you can spam your fireballs, you're gonna throw your balls at them, and yeah, that makes the game also boring. So if the game would be more fun and less repetitive if you could use more classes in general.
Yeah. I would have to say the class that I would probably pick would be Paladin. Um, I really like the rotations that the paladin class gets, with keeping up your different buffs and being able to have all those things pop up on your screen, right? Kind of shoot lighting at these things. Now I also have green text telling me to do my my 2 attack combo, and then now I need to use my shield. Big damage is coming. I gotta invulnerability this. I think that, to me, I think the paladin's a really well put together class.
I agree. I agree on that. And
Yeah.
if you add a certain weapon, like the Reaper weapon is really good because per 3 clicks on PC you can have 20% of your health back, and I think that's really
Yeah.
good.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
they should have also do the kinetic instead of a range class. Well, like weapon for the range damage, they should have make it all damage.
Mhm.
Yeah, like so the all damage weapons are basically sometimes, no, not always, but in some case they outclass the range damage because it's you have this damage debuff kinda if you're staying too close.
Yeah.
Yeah, your damage gets decreased if you stay too close to the boss.
Yeah.
Also, what I miss on kinetic is healing. It's a good class, but I think you can get from the golden symbol from Terra, you can get some sort of healing, but in general, it doesn't have any healing. So if it, I mean, it's basically the how Skyforge was supposed to be because back in the day, Skyforge devs didn't want any healing, but then Sound Reaver came out, etc. But in general, Outlaw and Kinetic and stuff are basically normal classes because they don't have any healing.
No, none of the class symbols for kinetic increasing heals you. The yellow one it's all about your stacks that you apply on the target. 8 levels stuns the target for 3 seconds. 16 levels
Oh yeah,
increases
sorry.
damage by 50%. 24 levels creates the gravity anomaly.
Sorry, I was wrong. I was confused with Slayer because that gold
For the
gold symbol
Slayer.
gives healing. Yeah, that gives healing through
For the
Shadow
Slayer,
Cloak,
yeah.
and you
Yeah, for the
yeah, okay,
Slayer,
but
yeah.
in general, Kinetic doesn't have any healing, and I think that's a problem because you have to heal yourself in some way. Like on Monk, you can use Con and proc 2 Earth nodes, and I think one, I don't know, you can decide whether you want a Fire node or an Air node to either deal more damage or gain 2 companion charges, but you want to heal on certain moments, on certain occasions, because yeah, you need that healing. Healing is quite important. You don't, and especially when Soundweaver is nerfed, because they help the effect of healing by making
Hmm.
3.0 to 1.5. Healing gets more important for certain classes. Anyways, we still didn't hear Toxic's opinion on what if you could keep one class of all, what class would you keep?
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool question you could ask yourself.
Now he or she asking if you could nerf one class and buff one class, which one would you nerf? Which one would you buff?
Okay, first of all, Nerf Firestarter, buff Biomancer. Please.
I think, like, in
It's been
general,
nerfed over the years. It deserves some attention, some sort of
like, I think all of the default classes that's been in the well, yeah, it's one class buff one. Well, I would definitely, all the classes that are newest one higher like Firestarter, I would agree. Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to not nerf it, but tweak it a little bit, that it's not going to be that OP that everybody's using fire starters for almost everything.
Yeah, Pickle, that's called a
But
nerf,
yeah,
dude.
well, it's not a nerf. It's just, I guess, rebalance, if you want to call that. The nerf when you completely
Rebalancing
decreasing.
is part of nerfing and buffing classes.
And there you go. Nerf Firestarter and buff which Alejandro's saying. So,
Buff which? Interesting.
well, since we already start talking about it, right? Okay, I picked the class Kinetic, so definitely gonna have to buff Kinetic,
Yeah.
make it instead of a range damage weapon, do the main all damage bonus for the weapon. So that way, if you up close, because you have to be up close because you're using that ability called, what do you call that? When you hold number one ability, Energy Wave, that it blows the enemies. You up close. When you drop the Gravity Anomaly, you have to be in it to use your free dashes, and you have to be up close with an enemy. So you need all damage. You can't use the range damage as a kinetic. What the hell?
Yeah, true.
Alejandro laughing at me. Rebalance. But yeah, definitely buff kinetic, nerf, or I don't fucking know. Nerf everybody else.
Firestarter.
Who cares? Yeah.
I would
I
say.
think
Nerf
everybody goes for
That
Firestarter.
thing
I would
has
say
been
buff.
torturing me over the years it has been existing in PvP. It doesn't. I mean, at least they nerfed the burning of damage because that burning was annoying as hell when fire
From
starters were just gonna use burning on you in PvP.
from the
Like,
passive,
yeah, just when you
the
hold
stacks.
your left mouse button, you know, the burning effect.
There you go. Senpai said nerf outlaw buff gunner. Why would you?
I'm over here.
Why would you nerf outlaw? Oh well, if you're talking about the trick, sure, yes. But if you wouldn't consider the bug, just simply go for for what it is in general.
I would say nerf. I would say nerf Grove Walker, buff the Knight or the Paladins.
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is because
Interesting.
Knight on PS4, right, has so many animation bugs. Fixing those bugs would be a direct buff to the Knight. There's so many
Hold up,
many
that would be
bugs that stop you from
Knight?
doing anything on PS4,
Yeah.
and it is the most aggravating thing to deal with. I would definitely main Knight if it wasn't such a buggy class. It would also
Yeah, I
just
can
be a whole
feel
lot better if it wasn't in its buggy form, because you just accidentally are stuck running forward, and you can either
Yep.
be in God form
Yep.
and you run straight into the ocean and die, or
Yeah.
not in God form and you
I
just go and
do
aggro
think-
everything and just get killed after that. So
Yeah, I do think your opinion on Knight. I have the bugs too, not as much as some people have. Like, I sent so many tickets about battering RAM. If you don't hold it down long enough, you're gonna get stuck and you have to use a Falcon or Havoc to unstuck yourself, and sometimes you need to do that 2 times.
yeah,
But in general, I think buffing Knight is quite pointless on the DPS side because buffing a tank class on the tanking side is useless because you don't need to deal damage because it's a tank.
yeah.
As Knight, you just need to stay alive. As tank, you need to stay alive. Yeah, I hope.
Well,
you
I guess I
agree
should
with that.
clarify the buffs aren't specifically only buffing their damage. I feel
buffing
like
the shield, buffing the
buffing the
skills or
shield,
something, I don't know.
maybe just reducing some of the cooldowns of the abilities. Not a direct damage buff or damage nerf. I think personally that Grove Walker gets their ultimates way too soon, because you've got your Paladin and Knight who have to wait almost 2 minutes for theirs, which makes Grove Walker a more fun class to play because now you're this giant hulking vine monster that kills a bunch of stuff every less than a minute. It takes less than a minute to get it. Make it that way for honestly all the classes. I would really love to see more classes be able to use their ultimates with less of a time between. I
You
mean,
can
obviously
use
some
that
of the
when
ults
you
are a little
have-
busted. Like, I don't want Soundweaver to just be stuck in their ultimate the entire time. But like, you
Yeah,
get
I
what I mean.
understand.
Yeah,
But
and
on Con, you can use your ultimate You on con, if you have the weapon, you don't have a cooldown. You just need to finish your combo attacks and hope you get an Earth Spear, or Fire Spear or Air Spear. And depending what spheres you have collected, and if you use your ultimate, the effects that come with the spheres you gain. So for example, if you collect 2 Earth Spheres, you gain 20% health back. And if you have, for example, 1 Air Sphere, you restore 2 charges of companion attack. And if you have like 1 Fire Sphere, you can make the boss 50% more vulnerable. And you can mix up between that. You just need to. I wish there was not a legendary weapon behind it. So if there was
Yeah.
like a different class that could use this ultimate, if you, for example, finished your combo attacks and collect something, or just do something that. If you finish your combo attacks, there's a chance you gain some sort of buff or effect, or you apply a debuff on the boss, etc.
Senpai actually has a really good point on Groove Walker. He says the reason Groove Walker gets his ulti sooner is because it only gets its defense from that. So it increases your health. You get less damage when you in the form. But compared to as Knight and Pally always have that available. So you always have some kind of invulnerability or shield as a Knight or Paladin more often, for example, in that case than the Groove Walker. So it's not always easy to
Yeah.
to get the Groove Walker ultimate that fast, because there's that the passive ability, that increasing your
Rapid growth.
energy regeneration. It's not always procs. Yeah, sometimes you can get lucky, you can get like 3, 4, 5 times in a row, but sometimes you can get in a like, really tough situation, like, oh shit, I still don't have energy because that thing didn't proc. So, and you have to run around and get some other vulnerabilities from like dashing, like a maneuver dodge, stuff like that. So yeah, he actually has a really good point on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Growth Walker weapons don't have the endurance stat, they only have the block stat instead of the Paladin and Knight weapons, except for Aesir Might of Heavens,
Yeah.
because that weapon has only endurance and not block. Man, I wish that weapon had block stat, because then it would be so overpowered as a tank. Anyways, yeah, as a tank, you need endurance more than you need block. Like, block is cool when it happens, but in general, you need endurance more often.
Mhm.
And that's on Grove Walker missing.
Yeah. What about you, Toxic? We haven't heard what class you would rather play, I think, and we also haven't heard what you would buff and nerf. Feel free to jump on in.
Okay.
Nice. I like it. Good.
Yo, that's some powerful message.
Yeah.
Yo, I see some cool players from PC joining your Discord, man. I see Dronex, I see Naughty, I see Alexiana, and others people's. Oh, there's Crazy Pickle. Wait, did he join? Wow.
Oh my gosh. Wait, Crazy Pickle joined my server? What the? Dude, what kind of lucky man am I? That sexy boy is going to join
Yes.
my Discord? Holy. Time to make out, dude. Where you at?
I don't know where I'm at.
um, well, we are reaching sort of, I guess, the end of the podcast here. I guess 2 hours is a pretty decent amount of time to listen to a podcast.
Yeah,
So
and you can edit certain parts out.
I'm not
Totally out
going
of
to.
context, so you
Totally
can
out
make
of
it say the
context
game
makes
is
it sound
very
like
good.
this game is great. There's absolutely no problem with the balance. We can all agree on that, right? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the video here. Thank you so much for joining the discussion, guys. We're gonna be having discussions like this every single week, so feel free to hop into the Discord to join them if you're interested. And thanks for tuning in to the streams. I know Pickles streamed this. I'm streaming as well. I don't know if you stream, Neo, but
No, I don't. I stream sometimes on Discord, but not a lot.
okay, all right. Yeah, so feel free to hop into any of our streams and ask us questions, things like that. We're always happy to talk about it and to get different points of view, much like this. Other than that, guys, thanks for everything you do, and I hope to see you guys next week for another weekly discussions video. Have a good
All
one.
right.